Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. Here on this live stream, you are going to get a very nice hour of improvised live looping, building the plane while I'm flying it. It's called Loops and Chill. Today's variety of this Loops and Chill stream. This is the freeform one. You're gonna get this. Building up the beat together, changing around the sounds, busting out the synth. We're busting out the synth on this one. A lot more just talking with you. My regulars know what it is. Speaking of my regulars, I see right now in the chat we have got Dr. Dirty Me. Also, my man, the man himself, if you are new to the Reconsider It live streams, you made the right decision joining us. For this tinkering in the studio stream, we are just warming up. We have only the base foundation of a beat. Most of it has not been built up yet. Haven't really even brought up the synth yet. By the way, for my musician friends who like to jam along with these beats, this one we're doing here, this warm-up beat that we're going to keep building up, this one is tuned to the key of G. So we are hanging out in this warm-up phase and just barely getting things started right here. I need to celebrate. I am going to celebrate at this time. What am I going to celebrate? I am going to celebrate you. Thank you for being here. To our friends who are here live in the chats. To our friends who are here in the live, but you are not in the chat. To our friends who are joining us, transcending space and time, joining us after the stream, watching on replay. Thank you for being here. The stream is so much better with you here. We want you here. I got my drink right here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to clink the screen. At that time, you are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. 1. Yes, it has already begun, my friends. 2. I know that you like this part. This is just really the best whole reason to join us on. 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Man, that is good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please share this video with a friend who would like it. I feel pretty warmed up. So now the question is, do I proceed to building up the beat more? Do I go play around with the synth more, trying to find good sound, or tweak this sound to make it a little closer to something I'm wanting to hear? Do I begin some kind of deep discussion? I think at this time I'm feeling drawn to build up the beat more. Cresshead says I gotta rap. Is that a fact? You want me to drop something? Would that be nice? Check it, that would be like some rhymes I tried to drop on this beat. Check it, believe I can rip it and it would be sweet. And you would like it, please. That's what you asked for. When I rap in the door is what you're opening. You're wanting to go within. Or when you're hearing it, and that is important. Check it, that is what I reinforce when I drop it down like this. Check it now, it's the sounds that you dig, and you wish that I would be dropping it, rocking it, and doing it more. Check it, of course, that is what you can expect more of. Crest now says, dude, exclamation points, capital letters. Crest says, you're on it. I'm glad you dig that. I have to briefly go hold on one second. All right. miscellaneous studio technical issue I had to briefly remedy. All right, so as I was saying, I think I'm gonna build up the beat because there's still the two slots, the main elements of the beat that I haven't built up yet. I'll bring in the synth as well. I don't even know what the other sounds are in this palette. By the way, it occurs to me that I was so, I guess rude. I was so rude because I did not give the proper greeting indeed to Crest says, whoa, this is way too much reverb there. Crest says, is that a Hydrasynth Explorer? Is it correct? Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's still pretty new-ish to me. I've had it for a few months. So I'm still like getting used to the flow of what it even means to be a synth person. It's the first time I've ever had a synth. I never even had any concept of sound design or anything. It's very new. I've also never had a keyboard. I have played on keyboards, but I never owned one as a part of my gear. So there's many dimensions of newness going on. Getting caught up on the chat right now. I see Cress is talking about that he's been using keyboards for 40 years, but he's got a nice setup right now. A KO2, is that what am I reading that right? A KO2 button layout. And it makes it so that it locks to a scale and you can make no bad notes. Yeah, my loopers have something like that. They have, or I guess not this one, the top one. Only the top one does. The top one has like a tuner. So I set it to, in this case, it's a G. So for any of our new musician friends who may have joined, this one is tuned to the key of G if you're going to be jamming along with us. The beats per minute is 148.6. See right now also that has joined us. Welcome! By the way, extra special shout out to my people in the year 3877. Special extra shout out. I'm still getting caught up on the chat. Chris says that I have the Mark 1. That's good. Yeah, that one doesn't have the tuner, but this has a lot of really cool features. I assume you're using it for some kind of instrument input, or are you using it for vocal stuff? Oh wow, Breathalyzer is also talking about a very extensive music tenure. 40 plus years in school also. Wow. My musical history is spotted. Third grade, age 8, I joined the elementary school band as percussion. And that was primarily things like playing a large bass drum with your hand, not necessarily marching band style like on the sides, but forward, and just hitting that, making sure you really nail it. Or some kind of snare-based thing. There was a little bit of like xylophone-y type stuff, but very little of that in my case. A little bit of timpani drum as well. Elementary school band was like an ensemble of, clarinet and flute and all that. And I did that through 8th grade. So that was 6 years. 6 years of elementary school band, 2 different schools. So 2 different bands, 2 different instructors and all that. I stopped after 8th grade because when you go to 9th grade, band became like a class where you have grades and homework and all that. And I was like, no, I don't want to do music as a graded schoolwork. In retrospect, I wish I did. That's something I would go back and tell past me. It's like, no, that's the wrong decision. You should totally do that class. Like, you're gonna get way better. And I would have had much more percussion experience. More importantly, I would have networked with more people in the music space, the music space. So after 8th grade, which was 13 years old in my case. Oh, I'm getting caught up right now. I see Breathalyzer says I quit at about 10. Oh wait, you're not saying at age 10 there's something else that I missed. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna take that back. But what was I talking about? My grade school. Okay, so after grade 8. So after age 13. So let's just say age 14 for the sake of discussion. Age 14. I didn't do any. Oh, I see Breathalyzer saying I quit music after 10 years. Cresshead's also saying a decade off of music. So I was, let's say, 14, 9th grade, not doing any kind of music formally, but somewhere vaguely around then, 14, 15, I don't know, something around then is when I started to jot down lyrics and like talk with a friend of mine who also liked music about like trying to rap and stuff. I wrote like, I don't know, 3 or 4 verses, and they were just like not of any substance. Kind of like imitating Beastie Boys almost. Which is one of the groups I listened to at that age. So that's like age 14, 15, whatever. A couple of isolated lyrics, a couple of isolated small poems. And that's about it. Then when I went to college, I suddenly started writing a lot more words, that is. I guess I did a little beatboxing in the teenage years as well. So college, age 18, we're gonna say. That's when I started writing more like purging journal entry type of stuff, trying to organize my thoughts and get things together. When I went to college and I moved to college, like a lot changed suddenly. I had a lot to process, a lot to try to understand. So I was writing a lot. And that did begin to take on elements of poetry and lyrics at that time. Age 18, 19, and so. It was the middle of my freshman year of college. A friend of mine had Sonic Foundry Acid. You ever use that? To my musician peoples? Sonic Foundry Acid. This was back in like 1998. This was like Acid 1.0, and he had a ton of music samples. If I recall correctly, I might be making this up, so don't quote me on this. Or I guess you could quote me, but also quote the part where I say that I don't know that I'm right. I might be making this up completely. But if I recall correctly, he got it through somehow the band Cold Cut. You ever heard of them? Cold Cut. Their album Let Us Play. I don't know if he got some kind of, download or something, or they had like a double CD and one of the CDs had acid and a bunch of samples on it, because that's what that album was. Their album Let Us Play, which is really fly. That's like, if you are looking for something that is a dictionary definition of fly, it's that album. Let Us Play by Cold Cut. So fly. Anyway, I might be making it up, but I feel like my friend may have gotten acid and a bunch of samples somehow through that. Or maybe they had a recommendation and then he went and bought it or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. But he had a ton of samples. And over Christmas break, he's like, oh, look, check this out. You like music? I'm like, yes. And he showed me, 2 or 3 songs that he made. I was like, this is the dopest thing I've ever seen. And he and I made a lot of songs over the winter break. Then I built a PC. Well, I didn't build it. I had someone build for me a PC that I could run acid with all those samples and make my songs and everything. So my first real amount of time invested at a young age in creating music, not just creating lyrics, not playing music as a drummer for 6 years in the grade school band, but my first time really making music was arranging samples, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I mostly think in terms of arranging samples in an ACID 1.0 interface. Those are the primitives that were imprinted into my brain and associated with creating music. And it's just taken this many years, which I guess is 26, 27, 27. About 27, well, not quite 27. Over 25 years to get to the point of like, oh, I need loopers. And I guess why not also put a Hydrasynth in there? I used to play the piano in the dorm at college. Most of the dorms had a piano, and I used to play it. I'm sure people really loved me because it was not good playing. It was not like, it was, or worse yet, there was a couple of songs that I had memorized from Tool. They were interludes on their album Anima. I forget their names. But I used to play like just those 2 melodies for a very long time, like probably 30 minutes or more. Right now I see some very good, exciting news indeed, because have been lot of chat that I need to get caught up on, man. In fact, most of it went off the screen. Okay. All right, I missed some chats. I apologize, my friends. Breathalyzer says I studied music education. Really? Played jazz for way too long, says Breathalyzer. Before realizing everybody hates it. I don't hate it. I like jazz. But I understand what you mean. Jazz is like... a word is failing me. I guess I'm comfortable using the word sophisticated. Usually jazz is pretty sophisticated. And of course you can have jazz that's like almost unlistenable. I like that kind too. I'm really into time signatures. But I understand why you might say that everybody hates it. That may be a bit of a exaggeration, but probably directionally accurate. I kind of feel that way about things like poetry or even music. I wouldn't say everybody hates music, but people aren't into music, really. There's, you know, like I'm into music. You are into music. Everyone watching this stream is into music. But we are not the 8 billion people on Earth. Of the 8 billion people, music is not like in vogue. It was really, really important and popular for 30 or 40 years. You know, from the 60s through the 90s. Music was so huge and important. But then it stopped being that big and important. Was it the whole Napster thing? Was it the internet? I'm not sure exactly what it was. But nowadays, it's just like most people, the average person is like, very indifferent to music, whatever. I have my iPod or whatever they're going to listen to. My iPod. Listen to me talking like I'm 1998. But whatever their streaming services, Spotify or whatever. That's the average person. What is it, like 10, 15% of people are like us, where we're into music? good news. The good news. The good news just keeps getting gooder. Because has joined us. Breathalyzer adds more about jazz, which I am relating with. I'm even gonna, oh, look at this. Yeah, how you like that? That's called using stream features. I'm such a good user of technology. So Breathalyzer saying, like, I love jazz, but it's just 12 people in a club and someplace near Chicago or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, if I'm understanding you correctly. You're saying like some kind of small setting. Or even if that's not what you're saying, that's the way that I'm connecting with it. And that's how I feel too. I like that kind of music. That's how, like, even before the pandemic, there was a lot of, you know, local small stuff, regional small stuff. That's the circuit I played in when I used to perform. I performed for like 6 or 7 years. And then the pandemic hit and everything closed down, and I've only played a couple of shows, like 3 shows, 2, 3, 4 shows since the pandemic. And I don't even really want to at this point. Because they're pretty small. And this is a lot to take out. You know, if I'm going to play a show, I'm probably going to just bring this one device and that's it. The top looper. If somebody likes what I do and they want me to perform with the full setup, I would, you know, I'd have some conditions. We'd have to have a pretty good, you know, financial compensation for that. Doesn't have to be $300 million. I can negotiate to something beneath $300 million. US dollars. I'd also need to, you know, give me at least an hour on the stage if I'm going to bring everything. But yeah, before the rap shows, to go back to what Breathalyzer is saying about, or the way I connected to what Breathalyzer said about a small setting, 12 people in the club. That's the kind of rap shows I used to play. Most of them anyway. That was the, like, you know, at least a couple shows every couple of months, you know. Ideally, I'd play a show a month or a show every 2 months or something like that, or 3 months. And that was just rap. Only for a couple years at the end did I bring the lower rap, the lower looper, and I just always remix myself. Always improvise a beat on stage. Mostly unplanned, but not always totally unplanned. Sometimes I needed to plan the drum beat so that it would fit with the lyrics I was going to do. But beyond the drum beat, it was mostly unplanned, just like I do these live streams. So that was cool. That's a cool scene. And it doesn't really exist anymore. It makes me sad. But that's also okay because, you know, I am aged. My physical body is not like really excited at the idea of going out for a show that, you know, it says show at 9, but they never really start until 10:30. And then there's like 5 or 6 show acts. It's like, oh. I'm sitting there like 1:30 in the morning, like, yeah. Not at this age, I'm not. I'll be sick that week if I do that. I have to carefully follow a very specific sleep and eating schedule and well, not schedule, sleep schedule, eating like diet. I have to be pretty strict about my diet and exercise and all this. And who needs to drink, really? I usually would have like 1 or 2 beers or 1 or 2 wines. Generally prefer a wine over a beer, personally. But if you go to a place with a pretty rich beer selection, there are some very good beers. And to our friends in the European part of the globe, I once visited Berlin. I was in Berlin for just over a week. I was there for 8 days. It was awesome. I loved it. That falls in the category of places where I could see myself living. Or at least, how about this? I would be open to considering that and doing further investigation. I had a great time. I loved it. Berlin was awesome. Anyway, at the time I ate a vegan diet. Berlin was very vegan friendly. I was surprised. But anyway, the reason I bring that up now, we're talking about beers. Cresshead says that's old fart syndrome. Yes, I like your phrasing. That's a nice, concise package that fully carries the meaning. Yeah, I'm exhibiting old fart syndrome. I'm not really... I would like to go to a show, and once in a while I still do. There's one band in particular that I'm thinking of right now. I forget their name, but it's a local band, and I would definitely go if they play a show. I would, yes. They're going on at 12 midnight. They're going on at 12:30 in the morning. They're going on after these 3 other opening acts. I'm like, there, doing it. This band is awesome. They're so like experimental. As I said, all sorts of different time signatures they do. I keep meaning to experiment with time signatures on a live stream because I used to do that. I used to do weird time signature looper stuff. If you go back and look at my videos from like, oh man, I'm trying to think when that was. That was probably like 2022, 2023, somewhere in there. I have a whole bunch of videos that are experimental. I used to call them flow loops. So you can find, I have a playlist called Flow Loops. So yeah, experimental time signature stuff. I would go out to see this particular band I was thinking of. I like catching a cool underground regional band as well. Like we talked about Chicago earlier. Breathalyzer says, I want to get into KnobCon, which is a lot of synth people. That sounds cool. Yeah. There was a, where I live, there was very briefly, some guy tried to start up something like that. and he brought a bunch of like little devices. I don't know, is it of what's that? What's that very small device? A, not a Multa. It's not that. Is it Ulva? Something. I don't know. A very small but like widely known synth device. And he had like 10 of them or something. And he tried to sync them up and bring people to play, but like it never went anywhere. Nobody knew what they were doing. Uh, it was really cool. I wanted it to go somewhere. I thought it would be fun to play with. I was thinking about bringing one of my loopers once to try to integrate it with everything else. But unfortunately, as I say, it didn't go anywhere. Oh no, I'm inspired to share my favorite story. I'm going to quickly build up another beat because we've been going with this one for a while. What time is it? Oh man, 49 minutes we're at for this first beat. Yeah, we gotta go make something else. Okay, I'm gonna randomly spin to something else. Again, this was a G 148.6, and also nowadays I'm saving my beats because it occurred to me that I'm building like 50 beats a month on these live streams. I just build so many of these, and it's kind of a waste. A lot of them are garbage. But once in a while, one of them's dope. And as I say, I'm thinking about writing a new rap EP, like a 5-song EP. And where am I going to get some beats from? Maybe, maybe the fact that I'm generating 50 beats a month out of nowhere. So I'm saving them now. That's my punchline. I'm saving my beats now. And I just saved this one. Let's go on to something else. This is a G. All right. I landed on a B flat for my musician friends if you're going to be joining along and jamming with us. This is a B flat. Right now. Right now, also, I see that JoJo has joined us. Welcome. Since I just got to this new palette here, I'm going to quickly build up the foundation of a beat. Then I'm going to get caught up on more stream. I also got to tell you the story I wanted to tell you, which I'm happy to tell you. I've already forgotten. What was I going to tell you? I forget what we were talking about. If you remember what I was talking about right before I said, hey, I'm going to tell you the story I want to tell you, but first I want to build a beat. Or first I'm going to go to a new beat. Tell me what I was talking about right before that. You can even rewind in the video. In the meanwhile, I'm going to build up a new beat. I'm going to build up a foundation of a beat. Let's get to it already. So you got some music to listen to. Let's do it. Friends, remember earlier? You remember earlier where I was saying like, oh, things are getting good and here the news is getting even gooder? Here's some more good news and all this. I was saying that earlier. Listen to this. The news just got even more gooder. Think about all this good news we're having. How much gooder could the stream news possibly get? Here's how much. All right. has joined us. Welcome, Auron. Auron is still a relatively newish member of our community. If you are new to Auron, you should check out his page. He is unique, I believe, in our community, in that Auron is the only one who does beats, but he also does video game live streams. Cool games. What's that one you were playing earlier? Was that where you're that ape? No, you're not an ape. You're some kid with an umbrella or something. Ape Escape, is that what I'm thinking of? That game looks so fun. By the way, I also saw that joined us as well. Also, over on the Twitch side, I see that we got Human Killer. Welcome, my man. It's been a long time. Welcome back. So this one is tuned to the key of B flat. That is to say, B as in boss, a boss looper. B as in banana. A B flat is what's happening right now if you were jamming along. Man, I'm really trying to remember what I was gonna say earlier. Something related to music? Dang. Here's a challenge. This is something for you to see how easy this is for you to do. I'm gonna have you say a word, and the challenge is to see, like, can you pronounce the word easily? And again, for all the things that I'm saying, of course, to our friends who are here in the live, in the chat, I am speaking to you. To our friends who are here in the live, but you're not in the chat, I'm speaking to you too. You don't necessarily have to, like, inform me of the results of this. This challenge is just for you to see about yourself. And also our friends who are joining us after the stream, I'm also speaking to you. Here's the challenge. So you know how there's this spice, a spice, a thing to eat, and it's like an orange, you know, dark orange, dark red, dark brown kind of color. And the spice that I'm talking about is cinnamon. That's the spice that I'm talking about right now. Here's the challenge for you. If you think about how the word cinnamon, you know, is pronounced, there's a cinnamon. There's a double N in the beginning. Here's the challenge. Replace the first N sound with an M sound. So instead of cinnamon, say cinnamon. How easy is that for you to do? Cinnamon. I see Breathalyzer is adding, oh, Humane Colors on Twitch. Good account. Nice. You know Humane Colors? That's dope. I've gone happy. Breathalyzer says it's a small streamer world. Yeah, it seems that way. It seems like here on YouTube, there's like, you know, there's a few pockets of people that sort of are closer, but then there are bigger, more encompassing circles where there starts to be some overlap and also some non-overlap. So there's some people who I know, you know, quote unquote know through being a live streamer and like always being in each other's streams and stuff. You know as well as you can know somebody in that way. But people who I see like every single day in, you know, however many streams, 3 or 4 different streams that I watch throughout the day. I do see certain people in some but not in others. And I see other people in some but not in others. So there's like this very not necessarily clean, you know, single variable distribution of who overlaps where in whose streams. I wish I knew how to find more streams, honestly. I don't really have a good mechanism for like going outside of those circles and expanding my people I meet. Once in a while I do get a live, you know, YouTube serves something up to me and it's dope. And I'm like, oh, new follow. Those don't necessarily always coincide with like ongoing relationships though that I build on a daily basis with some people. Most of the people in the stream today actually are in that category. Chris had said he's going to bed. That's dope. I'm with it. Thanks for showing up, my man. I hope you dug that rap earlier. Breathalyzer says, oh man, I didn't know you were on Twitch. Yeah, I think I have 10 followers there or something. As opposed to my very impressive amount of followers on YouTube, which is getting very close to 500. And I'm wondering, like, when it gets to 500, do I need to do some kind of thing? Or do I wait until it's 505 Get it? Get it? 505? Is that what I do? Should I just do a 505 thing? For all of my other streamer friends who have your pages and you see your follower count and everything. I'm thinking about the ones where it's like it goes up for a day and then it goes back down by one. It goes up one, then it goes back down by one. Somebody, doing one of those follow for follow things, but then they unsubscribe. It's like, oh, those things. And I bring that up because it's like, if I'm waiting for exactly 505, how do I like ensure, maybe I wait a couple of days after it turns 505 so that it's really up to like 50, 8 or 509 or whatever it is. Half God, half beast says 505 because then it'll go up to 507 and then it's not 505 anymore. That's true. Half God says beast. Oh, half God, half beast says that subs don't mean as much to YouTube as the watch time. I'm glad you're telling me that because I don't really know how. I don't have any kind of strategy for gaining new followers or watch time or anything. I'm just like, how about I just stream a bunch? That's about the extent of my strategy. I guess like I do once every month and a half. I post in some Facebook groups. I'm like, hey, check out this video. But I don't have any kind of like ongoing strategy. So I rely on people stumbling on the page, YouTube serving it up in some kind of algorithm or whatever. Maybe I'll be the 8th video down in their recommendations. I'll take it. I'll take it. Somebody goes to that and they're like, let me check this out. And they're like, this is so dope, what is this? And then they hit the subscribe button. And then they come back and watch for many hours, as Half God, Half Beast says. Breathalyzer says, counting at 1,000. Does that mean like that's where things start to matter, and until then you're not really doing much that matters. You're not really achieving much. I'm not sure if that's what you mean. I could be completely making that up out of nowhere. Since that's how communication actually works. Most people think that communication is like, I'm going to send a message and you're going to receive the thing I sent as though I threw you a ball. Here's some words, and the words have meaning, and you caught what I threw at you. That's how most people conceive of what communication is. That's not what communication is. Communication is like two people, let's just say verbal communication for now, for simple discussion. Two people talking. Two people talking the same language, and let's say it's like, quiet. They can hear each other and there are no other sounds. One person says a bunch of sounds, moves their jaw and tongue and stuff, lips and everything, moves air through them, molecules vibrate, and all of this. Sound waves happen. Those sound waves travel from the source person, the speaker, I guess. They travel through space, the sound waves do. The excitingness, the excitation of molecules in wave forms that carry sound, carry an audible vibration that permeates space. And the receiver, the person hearing the sound waves, what's happening is that these excited molecules carrying energy in the form of waves start stimulating their inner ear in a way that generates neurological transmissions regarding those sound waves and the vibration of them and the what would you say, frequency and all that. And then the receiver's brain, they process the sensory information of audio. There's no word that got thrown from the first person to the second person. The second person perceived some sounds, and that's where you have the opportunity either for possibly communication or not, a failure in communication. Still assuming it's quiet, assuming it's the same spoken language and all this. Because one person uses some word, and they, in their mind, the significance of that word is, in fact, a complicated network of meaning. It's not just the word by itself. It's like a summoning point for nearby similar meaning. But that network of nearby similar meaning, that's completely unique to the individual. And this is a universal statement of all humans. The way any given individual encodes the meaning of words is completely unique to them. Now, I don't mean that they're radically different. Usually, they can be. Usually, it's more very subtle. And the subtle network of adjacent meaning, that's a little off. Only 64% overlaps. So when I say a word, and then the other person hears the word I say, what's really happening is, in their mind, there's this tickling of what they associated that word with. They don't know what I mean. They just receive what they receive, which is really a summoning of their past. It's the imprinting of how their neurology was codified. Now, in most cases, in polite society, people kind of sort of mostly overlap for the most part, most of the time, especially when there are well-defined principles of how to be polite, how to show respect in a way that will be recognized. Most people kind of mostly get the gist of what you mean, and it's good enough for day-to-day purposes, allowing for a relatively high margin of error. but it's not really overlapping. It's not really like sending an object, like I threw you a ball. So we're just kind of getting by and accepting that most people don't really know what you mean exactly. And if you're talking about something like, I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy a, piece of fruit, that's going to be fine. All you need is a piece of fruit. You don't have to have a soulmate check you out at the cashier, what do they call it? Cash checkout counter or whatever you call it. The thing where you pay money for the food. But there are some things that you might like to have a soulmate for. Someone who really totally knows what you mean and signals it to you in a way that you receive as confirmation that they do know what you mean. When you send your signals, they seem to receive it in a way that very closely matches your lexicon network. And there you have it. Man. What a good tinkering in the studio stream this has been. Thank you for being here. At this time, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate you. Thank you for being here. The stream is so much better with you here. We want you here. Of course, I am speaking to you. Whether you're here live in the chat, or you're here live but you're not in the chat, or you're joining us after the stream, you're watching on replay, I'm celebrating you. I'm grabbing my drink, I'm doing my thing, and it's all starting when I count on one like this. One. Very nice, that's good. Oh man, I'm looking forward to you joining us. Two, when we get all the way and just fully get all the way and do it all the way to the cheers on. Three. Clink. Cheers, my friend. Oh, man, that's good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please share this video with a friend who would like it. Thank you for being here and making this better. I hope to see you in the next live stream. My regulars know that we do these tinkering in the studio streams in an unscheduled manner, where we hang out for an hour and a half or however long, bring in the synthesizer and all of this, do a lot of talking. We do these tinkering in the studio in an unscheduled manner. If you've got notifications enabled, you will be able to join us. My regulars know that we have another kind of live stream as well, where we hang out for an hour and just do one beat after another. Not as much talking, not as much drawn out dawdling. We don't use the synth either. No synth. It's all vocals on that stream. It's called Loops and Chill. We do Loops and Chill every Wednesday and Saturday. Whenever it is that you join us again. Until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please let the rest of your day today bring you all sorts of enhancements, all sorts of advancements, all sorts of healing and ascension. Please let the rest of your day today enhance you in ways that you're not even aware of. Please let the rest of your day today bring you into new places where you've never been, whether that's literally physically or it's more of a metaphorical way. Please open the door to new horizons. Please discover new reasons to wake up in the morning, new things inspiring you, new things that make you feel as though you have something to contribute, something to look forward to, something to participate in, something to contribute to and be recognized for. Please let all of that open up for you today, and I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.